how are you? I did not forget that it's Pride Month, even though it's like almost the end of the month. But whatever, I'm still gonna do my recommendations. So, I had previously in like Black History Month and Women's History Month, I had a whole different video for documentaries. But I'll just add documentaries onto this. I've already recommended The Celluloid Closet and Paris is Burning before. So I talked about Paris is Burning during Black History Month. So yeah, it's about the ball scene. It was very moving. Like it's now one of my favorite documentaries, so go watch that. A few years ago, I made a video about my favorite documentaries, and The Celluloid Closet was on that list, which is about like the cinematic history of gay people in American movies. I think it was made in like 1996. Yeah, definitely a good documentary. It shows us how gay relationships were censored and how like the stereotypes that were portrayed throughout history. But also similarly on the note of like gay relationships being censored and stuff, this film is not yet rated. It's about the MPAA ratings, and one of the things that they talk about is that sex is rated more harshly than violence. And they have in the documentary like a split screen between like X-rated gay scenes versus R-rated heterosexual love scenes, and like it's the same thing. One example of a movie that unfairly got an NC-17 rating was But I'm a Cheerleader. I saw that movie and I thought, apart from the character saying the word fucking in a sexual sense, this looks like a PG-13 movie. Another documentary is Documented, which is about Jose Antonio Vargas. As you can probably guess by the title, he is undocumented. He is an undocumented immigrant from the Philippines. He came to America when he was a young boy, and he didn't even know that he didn't have proper paperwork until he was 16 years old. He talks about being in the closet, about being undocumented, and the documentary follows him as he like comes out as undocumented. After he writes his article, which I read the article before watching the documentary, is so good. If I can find it, I will link it in the description, so definitely check the description. Jose is also gay. One of the things that he brought up in the article, I don't remember if he brought it up in the documentary. I think he was living either with his grandparents or aunt and uncle, but his uncle or grandfather kicked him out for like 2 weeks after he came out. One of the problems was that conservative Catholic values, that sort of thing. But another problem with him being gay is that the expectation for him was that he would eventually marry a woman and get papers that way. And, you know, since he's gay, that kind of messes with that whole plan. So very good to see like the intersection between like homosexuality and immigration, because I know that he did also advocate for same-sex marriage and saying that this is also an immigration issue because, you know, immigrants can't have the option of like getting married to get those papers. Okay, so on to like fictional movies. Number one, of course, is Moonlight. I recommended this movie. I reviewed this movie. I loved it a lot. It deals with hyper-masculinity in the Black community. It won that Best Picture Oscar. I posted my review of Moonlight before the whole Oscar debacle. Well-deserved, Moonlight, well-deserved. So after watching Moonlight, I was very interested in learning more about Barry Jenkins's influences, and one of the directors who influenced him was Wong Kar-wai, and he directed a film called Happy Together. So I went and I watched Happy Together, and I thought it was pretty good. So it's about this gay couple from Hong Kong, but they decided to travel to Argentina, and then shortly after traveling to Argentina, they fight a lot and break up, and now our main character is in Argentina and has to work, you know, like kind of menial jobs. So, yeah, and it's about like their dysfunctional relationship. It kind of captured this idea of like you go somewhere thinking that it will be so romantic, but then you get there and it's like you can travel halfway across the world and then realize that you're still you and that other person's still that other person, and your problems follow you there, and now you're just in a place where you don't speak the damn language. Definitely interested in watching more of his movies. I've heard In the Mood for Love is very good, so. Last movie I just talked about was Happy Together, and this one also has a title from that same song. I should have looked this up before filming. Is it Imagine You and Me or Imagine Me and You? I'll be honest, I fucking hate the title. I read on Wikipedia that it was originally supposed to be called Click, and it was like a reference to Love at First Sight, but then they didn't go with that because another movie was called that. They should have gone with Click, okay? But this is a rom-com, this time about a lesbian couple. I did not forget about the lesbians, by the way. Because I do realize that so far this list has been about gay men, so I'm just, yeah. Yeah, so rom-com, not my favorite genre. Mostly because I don't like miscommunication plot lines. I don't remember this movie having this huge miscommunication arc, so that's good. Also, my most recent video is me complaining about how a certain couple in my favorite Norwegian show could have been executed better, because I don't like it when they rely on the romance being people looking at each other from across the room, but there aren't as many scenes of the couple actually hanging out and being friends. This gave me an appreciation of a romantic storyline being done well, where the couple, you know, they get to know each other and they talk. So again, very effective movie. I did not find it frustrating in the way that I find a lot of romantic comedies to be frustrating, so definitely recommend watching that. Next movie, Grandma. Grandma in this movie is a lesbian, so it is about a young girl, about like 17 or 18. She has an abortion scheduled for like 5 o'clock that day, and she needs to hustle and get that money, so she goes to her grandma to like shake out some money from her, but grandma's like, I don't have any money. She cut up all her credit cards. She doesn't have shit. So it's really about like this girl and her grandma going to everybody in grandma's social circle and trying to shake some money out of them so that this girl can get an abortion. As I mentioned, grandma's a lesbian. Laverne Cox makes an appearance as one of the characters that grandma tries to shake money out of. Spoiler alert, she doesn't have money, so. Yeah, I like this movie. I also like that abortion is something that happens a lot in real life, but it's like kind of hush-hush. Not a lot of people talk about their abortion experience, and when it comes to movies and TV shows and stuff, if a character is considering an abortion, they tend not to go down that route. So I like that this movie was about somebody trying to get an abortion. So next movie I want to talk to you about, Pariah, and it's an all-black movie. Okay, so it's about this girl named Alike. She is 17, she's butch, not out to her family, and her mom is really trying to put Alike in this box, like, oh, look at this nice pink cardigan that I bought you. I really liked how they showed in the movie, like, Alike would wear clothes that her mom would find pleasing, but then she would like change while she's on the bus or something. Her dad is more accepting towards her, but there is something strange going on where we don't know if he's cheating on his wife or not. So that's another problem. Like, we see the mom in denial with her marital problems and also in denial with what's going on with Alike. We'll say in the trailer that I saw, she recites a poem, and that poem is at the end of the movie, so like it didn't have as much of a punch when I heard it, because I'm like, I heard that in the trailer. Like, why'd you put something from the end of the movie in the trailer? Really like this movie. It's also directed by a woman, directed by a black lesbian, so there, when it comes to female directed films, there aren't as many as there are male directed films, and they aren't usually as successful, and you know, there's a lot of roadblocks in getting those voices heard. So yeah, I really like that. You know, this was not just by a woman, but also a black woman who's also a lesbian. So is that all? Oh, right. Beautiful thing. There's this boy having trouble with things at home. I said trouble at home. I remember him having bruises all over his body. So I think either his dad or older brother had beat him up. So he stays with his friend who lives like in the same apartment complex, and they share a room. Anyway, I did like that this was also like about a working class family in England. It's only like 80 minutes long, so not that long. Really enjoyed it. I really like the bit where Dream a Little Dream of Me comes on, so watch out for that when you're watching the movie. Another thing, I want to recommend Sarah Waters' adaptation. Sarah Waters is an author who wrote Tipping the Velvet, Fingersmith, Affinity, The Night Watch. I think all 4 of those became either miniseries or TV movies. Yeah, I liked them, especially the adaptations of Fingersmith and The Night Watch. I do know that there was like a Korean adaptation of Fingersmith called The Handmaiden. I don't know if it's like necessarily like an adaptation or if it just like took inspiration from Fingersmith, but I want to watch it. I put a hold on it at the San Francisco Public Library, so I'm gonna watch it soon, but you know, the library hasn't, it's not in yet. So also, my friend recently gave me his Netflix information, which thank you. So I have all this access to all these things that I can watch streaming from Netflix now. I spend more time adding things to my queue than I do spend watching things in my queue. So far, I've put Closet Monster and Weekend in my queue. If you have any recommendations for things on Netflix that are streaming, let me know and I might watch. That is it. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.